You know, I got more jobs out of it, and I eventually moved up to Montreal to play at a pub in Montreal called the Old Dublin Pub, which had opened in 1978. I started playing there in '79, and it's still going strong in Montreal. In fact, I'm going back there to play at Christmas time, and you know, I played there for many years, on and off. It became pretty much my home away from home. You know, a great base. You know, built up a great following in Montreal, and really loved the city, loved Montreal. And then I got the chance to come down to the States in '93. I gave that a shot, and that's been going very well since I came down here. Plenty of work, thank God. Touch wood.
How do you find the comparison between festival circuit here in the eastern United States or southeastern United States, say, compared to a place with a longer tradition like Maritime Provinces of Canada?
I would say, well, the festivals that I do down here, I mean, I've done some different festivals. It's just up in Canada, I would probably say that the festivals I did were not geared specifically towards Irish and Celtic music. You know, for example, if I did the Winnipeg Folk Festival or the London, any of the festivals in Ontario, because Ontario is full of folk festivals, but they don't necessarily deal in one specific kind of music. You know, there's a lot of transplanted Scotsmen and Englishmen living in Ontario. Many of them, in fact, run the festivals there, and you know, there's more festivals in Ontario and across the rest of Canada that you can shake a stick at in the summertime. It's incredible. You just go from festival to festival every weekend if you can get booked at them, you know. Down here, however, there are more festivals geared towards Irish music and Celtic music. For example, Milwaukee, North Texas. The Washington, I think there's a festival up in Washington. There's certainly plenty in New York State. But the ones that I don't tend to do as many festivals down here, I said, that are more on a broad spectrum, I guess. If I get booked at an Irish festival, it's pretty much an Irish and Celtic festival. I mean, that's not to say that those festivals don't branch out a little bit, you know, but basically back in Canada, I would say the festivals were maybe a little more eclectic as far as their mix of music was concerned, except that would probably, in the Maritimes, there would be an exception. For example, if you were out in Newfoundland, the music would be a little more geared towards Celtic music, and in Nova Scotia also. But there again, I mean, next summer I'm doing a festival in Lunenburg, in Nova Scotia, the Lunenburg Folk Harbour Festival, and there's different people there, not necessarily Celtic musicians.
The title of the latest CD is Across the Great.
That's probably the one that's closer to me than the other ones, because of the fact that obviously I'm an immigrant, and this album is made up mainly of immigration music, you know, and a lot of songs that are, you know, some songs are kind of a bit personal, so it's also the one I spent the most money on. So, but I really wanted to do that album back at that time. It was the right time to do it, and it's still my favourite album, you know.
Let me ask you another question about music. Now, you've been focusing on traditional tunes, it seems like, or traditional style tunes. I know some of this is stuff that you've written yourself.
Yeah.
But,
well, some of the fusion stuff I do like, some I don't like, you know. As far as traditional music is concerned, it's always going to be there. It's you know, there'll always be people playing traditional music, no matter what, you know, somebody does with it. If they want to take it a step further, there'll always be people who want to play the music in a traditional manner, you know. I don't think that'll really ever change, you know. I mean, back in the 60s, you know, the big folk revival in the United States they were talking about back in the early 60s, and everybody was playing folk music, you know, and then they said folk died. Well, folk never died. Everybody still plays folk music, you know. It's always there. It's just one of those things that's always there, you know. So I don't think, I mean, you can still go to, I mean, I would say Americans probably, when they go to Ireland, are probably disappointed because they don't hear very much traditional music, you know. But the thing is, you have to search it out like anything else. Irish people like rock and roll and alternative music just as much as anybody else, you know. Even country music, you know. Country music is pretty big in Ireland, you know. So traditional music is always there. It's just sometimes you have to go looking for it, you know. As far as myself is concerned and my own interest in traditional music, my interest is basically in acoustic music. I love acoustic music, whether that is Irish traditional music, whether that's you know, the songs, whether it's American folk music, whether it's Woody Guthrie or it's Gordon Lightfoot or it's the Mollies, or you know, I just love acoustic music. And that's mainly my interest. I mean, I have other musical interests outside of that, but that's my main love, you know.
So for the next, you know, for the foreseeable future, you see yourself still going around on the festival circuit and playing those kinds of gigs and that kind of thing. Going to be doing any collaborations or anything?
Well, yes, for the foreseeable future, I'd like to play more festivals. You know, I mean, I do a lot of pubs and clubs like that. You know, but I'd probably like to do more festivals. You know, they're more relaxing. You get to play to more people generally. You know, you've got a bigger audience, and you got more chance of exposing people to your own music, and you know, hopefully selling your recordings. You know, in a pub setting that's kind of limited. You know, but I can't see myself changing now. You know, I mean, obviously I've been doing this for quite a number of years, but I mean, I still like it. You know, God, it's better than 9 to 5. You know. Of waking up on a Monday morning and saying, "Oh God, you know, this is marvelous." You know, everybody else has gone to work and I can lay in bed. You know.
Isn't that? Well, Brendan Nolan, we thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thanks
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It was great talking to you.
Appreciate it.